down. Down.
Player versus player versus player versus environment. Okay, I'm going to start that over because I didn't have my mic on.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. While it's still playing, let's go ahead and start that over. All right, everybody, thank you for coming out and checking out From the Verse number 12. In this episode, we are going to be talking about player versus player compared to player versus environment. Thank you. We have Paraset with us. We also have Irish Dawn with us here in our cockpit. And we will be just basically shooting the breeze, talking about that. And if you haven't seen this live stream before, welcome. We appreciate you guys checking us out. Okay, and if you haven't seen all the other videos, this is our 12th one, so go back and check out the previous 11. All right, now, Paraset, if you would, tell me what you've been doing lately in the last week or so to get ready for the upcoming Star Citizen.
As far as all I've been doing, I got to be honest with you, Mr. E, I have been walking around the hangar. And I've actually been going into arena every now and then. I still have. I'm waiting until we can all work together and I can get whole armor and Irish in there to show me exactly how to work with that. With my aircraft, my spacecraft. Sorry. But other than that, that's what I've been doing. I know Irish has been in there more than I have.
Every day.
So, Irish, what have you been doing?
At least once or twice a day, I try to get into DFM, try to take on other actual live opponents and stuff like that. Try to work on my skills and see what other people are doing and how they're maneuvering, and also watching YouTube videos and stuff like that to see the basic flight. How people are actually doing things that they're doing. I'm still getting my butt handed to me. I'm still below, I think just below 40% on my kill to death ratio. But
how do you know that?
I keep track of how many times I die. So
okay.
But sometimes I fare okay. But other times I'm pretty much getting my butt handed to me.
Okay, so what you're doing to prepare then is playing the hell out of Arena Commander.
Yeah.
Okay. Same with Paraset, right? We're walking around their hangar and things. Okay. Well, let me tell you, I've got a laundry list of what I've been doing to prepare, and this is not all Arena Commander or Star Citizen related, because I have been practicing with my HOTAS, my X55, trying to get proficient, with that. I know that all the buttons that I have on my X55 is not in use. A lot of them are dead buttons, and so. But as soon as version 0.9 comes out, we're going to have the ability to customize what buttons are used for what, and so I'm going to, at that same time, customize my HOTAS to do things I wanted to do. So I'm basically just trying to get used to playing with the HOTAS, even though I think the mouse and keyboard is 100 times easier because of the way, well, with a Hornet anyway. Maybe not with a ship that doesn't have a turret, but with a ship that has a turret, the mouse is so much more beneficial because I can point off my left screen and the turret will still be firing over there. Where with just the joystick, I have to point my nose at my opponent, and so there's a limited amount of time I get to shoot at something. It does track off to the left, but then it breaks lock, and then it goes back to the center. So I've also been playing Operation Flashpoint. I don't know if those of you know, this is an older game, probably about 4 or 5 years old, and it's a precursor to Arma, and it's a very good realistic first-person shooter. I've been doing that just to hone my first-person shooting skills. I've also been playing Xenonauts to keep my administrative skills up, but it's like an XCOM game, but like the old original XCOM game, and I'm playing it just for fun. Yeah, and on the computer gaming world, I've been invited to play Shadow Realms in the alpha, so as soon as that comes out, I'm going to download it and see if that's any good, but it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's kind of a 4 versus 1 game where you get 4 players running around in a dungeon against 1 player who controls all the monsters. So it seems like it's going to be pretty fun. And I've been playing MechWarrior Online, so I've been playing a lot of that, and so that's always fun. And okay, so let's talk about what's been going on in Star Citizen itself, in the world of the verse. There's still no version 9.9 yet. I know we're all waiting for that. Every day I'm checking to see if it's out. The Dragon Con just happened, right? They went to Dragon Con and showed off some aspects of Star Citizen. They had another group of people the same weekend go to a PAX and showed off Star Citizen there. But there's not really a whole lot of other things coming out, other than maybe a fish was being sold. So, did I miss anything? I mean, did anything really happen this week? I know we talked about the Gamescom last week.
Right. One of the things they did come out with was a new in the verse, or
yeah, from no, we're
from the verse. Sorry, from the verse.
No, we are from the verse.
Are we from the verse? Okay, and
they're around the verse.
Around the verse. That's
right. See, we're in it. They're around it.
Okay.
Well, developers and all.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, they came out with a new one.
Yeah. Other than that, it looks like they're just not ready yet to release the new version yet.
Right. Well, they did say Friday they're going to put out a post whether or not it's been released or whether or not they're going to hold it back due to bugs or anything.
Right.
Right. And so they also released some pictures, and I want to show these pictures off. I have like 5 pictures here, and so I'm gonna move my camera over here to my left monitor so that people can see. That right there is the 890 jump. So if you guys have purchased the 890 jump or backed for the 890 jump, that's it right there. That's the multi-level yacht, the one that has the luxury ship for you people that have too much money. Okay, so and it doesn't look like it's packing a whole lot of heat, but who knows? There might be something under a door somewhere, or something might pop out somewhere. But it doesn't look like it's a gunship. It does look like it's a yacht. And that would be cool to board, take over, or own, underhandedly. No, I wouldn't do that. We wouldn't do that. We're going to protect people that have yachts. That's our main goal. If they have a yacht and they need to get to point A to point B and they need some escort, they can call us and we'll help them out. They also released, let's see if I can go through my pictures here, 4 pictures of 4 different cockpits from Squadron 42. These cockpits, they have a contest. Okay, that might be... There we go. They have a contest right now where they want us to guess the 4 ships that these cockpits go in. And the first person that guesses it gets a, who knows, pat on the back. I don't know what they're going to get. But, I think they said, I just don't remember what it was. But yeah, these cockpits all look very military. I know it says Navy UE on the head pad there, but it looks very military. And if we know what kind of ships are coming out of Squadron 42, we can kind of guess. One of them is the Gladius. Another one is the Gladiator. Another one is the Retaliator. And the other one is the Lightning, right? The F8 fighter, heavy fighter. So I don't know what this one is. I don't think this is the Gladius. That one kind of looks like a more streamlined ship. I'm thinking Gladiator or the F8 Lightning, because the Lightning's supposed to be BA. What's the next one? Now, okay, now that one doesn't look like it would be either one of those, because it looks kind of like a troop transport cargo hauler. Just the way the window looks over here, how it's kind of pointing downward, and it looks like a large cockpit. I don't know. I do not know. But that one right there, it's hard to tell, but I think that is the Retaliator. Only because there's a path where you walk up to the bridge and you get into the seat and it turns around. Who makes the 300i? That's Origin, right?
Yeah.
Or is it RSI?
I thought it was Origin.
Origin makes the 300i.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but Aegis makes the Gladiator. So
Right.
this might not be it, because the one of the ships, because this has a seat that turns around, but that I pretty much think that's only the 300i. And what else? What other ship is made by that company that has the seat that turns around? I can't remember. But yeah, so it might be that one. But it looks like it's a Retaliator. But I could be wrong. Who knows? All right. So what do you guys think about those cockpits?
Nice.
Yeah, I like them. What is there not to like?
I know, right? I mean, Star Citizen, they've been doing a really good job lately of releasing some really good graphic stuff. I think they fully implemented the PVR into their stuff, and they're really putting... And that's Squadron 42 guys. They have a different art style. You can kind of tell. You know, the guys in the Austin and the LA office are making things more civilian looking, and those guys in Squadron 42, the what do they call it, Studio 42, they're making stuff. Foundry 42, right? They're making it more rugged, sharp angles, more military looking, which I guess is good. All right, that brings us to our main topic. We got to it pretty quick tonight. PvP versus PvE. Okay, and for those of you that don't know, I know everybody out there knows, but PvP is player versus player, and PvE is player versus environment. Okay, now I've got some show notes that I'm gonna kind of just share real quick with everybody, and then we're gonna break it down into our heated discussion. No, but seriously. Okay, PvE obviously can take a variety of different forms, right? PvE is your player versus environment, and it can be anything from dealing with like a gravity storm or a meteor shower. That's all part of the environment, and that can affect you. But not just that. You can be attacked by the leaping cat on Ryla. You could also be engaged by a group of 4 bandits in cutlasses in deep space. You know, and those are all controlled by the computer as AI. That's the environment. It's basically any creature or thing in the environment is controlled by the computer. Where player versus player also can take a variety of different forms. It doesn't always have to be combat. But it's not going to be natural hazards, okay? Because players aren't wizards; they're not making storms or whatever. Okay, unless there's storm-making technology in the future. I mean, there might be. Okay, like, well, you got the terraformers; they make storms. Okay, but you have the a group of 4 bandits, right? They could all be controlled by a player piloting those ships, and that's player versus player. You're out in space dealing with other players. And there's also things like maybe a merchant is just trying to cut in on your deal. Like he's going to try to undercut you with lower prices or better terms of the deal or whatever. And you have to deal with that. So that's player versus player because you're competing with another player for that job. And then, of course, there's straight up combat. You know, guys are going to shoot you in the head, you know. Uh, okay,
Lost
and
you.
late. I hear you. But we're also going to talk about the PvP slider bar, because that will affect how we interact with the persistent universe. But no, the first thing I want to do is I want to talk about PVE, because I think it's kind of the easiest really to deal with, and seeing things that we know are going to happen in the game and things that we want to happen in the game. Okay, and then we'll move on to PvP, and then we'll move on to the slider bar. But like in PVE, which is the environment, what are you guys looking forward to, or what do you know is going to happen, and what am I saying? What would you like to see happen? Start with you, Parasite.
As far as PVE,
Yeah, the environment, the AI
far as the
controlled
environment?
stuff. And AI controlled anything, shopkeepers, animals, the door that won't open.
rather than attacking merchants, what I'd rather see there would actually be, maybe shadowy characters or something that are attackable, but actually creating characters that are non-attackable as well as characters that are attackable. Otherwise, I think it just turns into one big old mess.
Okay, so you're saying you want to have shopkeepers, which I do believe that's part of what's guaranteed to be in the game. There's going to be areas that we can go into that you cannot even pull out your gun. It's not going to be a physical capability.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to do it. So you'll be dealing with these merchants, and that's going to be a very law-controlled area, I suppose. And then there's going to be other areas where, like first-person combat or whatever, is going to be allowed. So you could pull your gun out and shoot that shopkeeper in the head. He doesn't give you the good deal, so you kill him. But really, are you looking forward to that? Are you looking forward to having that separated like that?
Well, I'd like to see it. That's
Okay.
something I'd like to see.
Because you want to be able to go in. I'm just reading your thoughts. You're trying to go into some areas that you know you're not going to have to deal with that,
Yeah.
and you just want to buy your laser pistol and get it over with. You don't want to have to like shoot a guy to be able to buy your laser pistol.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, right. I got you. So, Irish, what about you? Do you have any like? If you know something's going to be released and you're excited about it, or are you hopeful about some other things that are going to be like you want some other things to be released?
Well, one of the biggest things today was they talked about, they got the first NPC that you can interact with. They got the first one. I think they said that they got the first one done.
The bridge captain or the bridge crew?
Yeah. So
yeah, right.
That's a big step. That's the biggest key is getting it implemented, which I think is going to be amazing. But I'm hoping it's kind of like Skyrim, when you played Elder Scrolls. You go to the shopkeeper, and you can even kill the shopkeeper, but the police are going to be on you as soon as you do. Everybody's going to be right on top of you as soon as you do that. But hopefully it's somewhat like that. Where the guy makes you mad, you kill him, but you got to pay. You got to pay the consequences. So hopefully it's it's set up well enough to where you can go in, you can create items, you can go and sell and trade. They're going to make it so in depth that it's going to be amazing either way. So, I hope that he did continue on with the battlefield aspect for play. So,
well, that's cool. No, you're right. They did mention the bridge captain is going to be released, or they worked it out where he'll actually start interacting with the ship on his own accord. You don't have to like give him orders. He'll take the initiative to go, I guess, sit down and pilot the ship and things like that. That's pretty cool. Parasite's his screen's just like going crazy. But that's okay.
different pictures.
Yeah, just cycling through his like library. Okay. All right. What about now? Let me tell you what I kind of see happening in the PVE universe. There's going to be heavy law areas that are not going to be. You're not going to be able to engage in combat, but there's still going to be PVE there. You're still going to have to deal with shopkeepers. You're still going to have to deal with maybe a local AI bandit that tries to rob you, and you got to chase him down or call the cops on him or something. Those kinds of things I think are going to happen. You're going to have beggars coming up to you. They're going to be asking you for money or whatever constantly, and then or whatever. And these in the law areas, maybe the slums or whatever. And then in the low law areas, like the fringes of the empire, or maybe even in the alien planets, there's going to be people in the environment that actually attack you. Like maybe aliens, maybe bandits, maybe just animals. Maybe you're an explorer and you're in a wild planet or something. And I think they will have alien creatures that'll attack you. But I don't think that's going to be the... I don't think it's going to be the norm. I think that's just going to be like, you just got lucky and pissed off the leaping cat and it just jumped on you or something, But you probably had a mission to go capture one in the first place, So I think those are some of the PVE type missions. I think you're also going to have, bring cargo from point A to point B, and then there's going to be go take on this Dread Pirate Roberts over here, and you're going to go take him on, and you're going to, just like any other game you've ever played, you're going to have to shoot like computer-controlled guys to get their loot, or get the mission completed and then come back. So I think you're going to see a lot of that kind of stuff, and that's just normal in any like MMO style game. You've got to have a ton of missions, ton of objectives, and yeah, so you're going to see that. Okay, now what about PvP? What about PvP are you looking forward to, or maybe identify as something you'd like to see in PvP? Go ahead, Parasite.
Something I'd like to see in PvP?
Yeah, or that will exist.
Fresh and easy? No. Maybe. Geez. I think one of the things I'd like to see as far as PvP is one of the problems I've always had with PvE, especially first person shooters,
yep,
was the movement. What would be really cool would be if I could do the same movement, I don't like using MechWarrior Online, but I got to use it in this case.
No, go ahead. We all play, so we know.
Okay, but I mean, one of the issues that I used to have that I've always had with PvPs, first-person shooters,
yep,
is that the movement would actually cause problems for me as far as nausea. And what I'm looking forward to is not,
Lost you.
You lost me?
No, you're back now.
Okay.
Yeah, so after nausea.
Yeah. What I'd be looking forward to, like I said, is one of the things I noticed with this game is you have the ability to set trying to think here. You have the ability to actually set the
graphics level?
Yeah, the graphics level, so it doesn't affect you as much.
Or maybe head shake or head bob, because there are games that take that out.
Yeah.
So you want to see them put a setting in there that'll let you adjust your head bob or your head shake. And
yes.
Maybe they already have graphics level. They're doing that because they're trying to make it so intense that people have to set it at a lower graphics level to play.
Yeah. Which is cool.
Yeah, it is good. It gives us options. If you've got a good rig, then crank it up.
Yeah.
Okay. But that isn't now that is PvP, but that's just being first person, and that can happen versus PvE or PvP. But I'm saying player versus player interactions. Like, what would you like to see as a player versus a player interacting with another player?
That'd be cool if you could punch somebody out.
Okay, so you want hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
Okay, I think so too. I think if you get in a bar fight and you just and everybody goes to just fists, or maybe
Yeah.
table chairs or something. That would be okay, but when you pull out the gun, then you break the law.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so there would be a lot of bar fights.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. I would be excited about that. I would start a few. Because what'd you say about our ship? Okay, which you've probably been. Okay,
I have.
I figured.
That's where I found out the guys scream like girls.
Yeah.
Some of those. Some of those. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Not in the face.
Yeah.
No.
And then they find out that the bottles, that their head's gonna break before the bottle does.
Right.
Oh look, this is actually a club. It's not gonna break over his head.
Yeah, it would kill him.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's. Well, let me tell you what I'm kind of looking forward to in PvP. I'm looking forward to ground combat. Okay, boarding parties, getting on board of a ship with a group of Marines or what have you. With us, it would be Marines, but with a bunch of boarding party guys, and then going down the hallways and the corridors, first person shooting, each other and, getting killed, of course, and then killing them. But I look forward to that. I look forward to boarding actions, but I also look forward to the dogfighting, the first person dogfighting, and trying to and the social game, with the environment, trying to get. All your pictures are distracting me. Okay. Trying to get the contract or get the mission, or maybe get someone to hire us to do the escort. So kind of the social aspect of the game. So I'm kind of looking forward to that too. I'm not looking forward to my next point that I'm about to share, but that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about what we're not looking forward to. It's what we are looking forward to. Okay, Irish, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
See, I played DC Online, and I've also my hand at Conan Unchained.
Yep. Played both of them.
DC Online, you get to walk up to another character and challenge them to a fight, and then like with Conan, you can go up to the guy in the bar and go to PvP to where you're there, but in that instance, you got to make a certain level before you can make it back or complete a mission that has to be done. Right. Now, I didn't really care for that, but those are two aspects of PvP that could possibly come into effect. But like you were saying, hopefully we're flying out there in space and we come across one of those transmission beacons that didn't relay the message through the universe, and we pick it up and get the message, and there's a guy that crashed on the planet. You got to go down there and see if you can find him. That'd be kind of cool to be in that kind of aspect in a first person type.
It would be. Yeah. And then you got to land. You got to find him. Maybe there's some Aborigines running around trying to kill him.
Yeah. Or you find him captured and he's.
Oh yeah, that'd be even better. He's in a big pot with carrots and he's being boiled.
Exactly.
And we go in guns blazing and they just don't even know what's going on.
Or you can just loot his ship and leave.
Yeah. Oh, that's not right. That's not right. If you do it, just don't tell me.
I'm just saying.
Oh, where'd you get that new ship? Oh, I just found it on the planet somewhere.
Nobody.
Yeah. Oh, he wanted to stay with the Aborigines. He just gave it to me. No.
I don't know who it belonged to. It was just you.
That's right. Okay, so let's go to the meat and potatoes of this actual conversation here, because this is when I'm going to start saying we're going to start talking about things that we don't like, and you can argue with me if you want. It's perfectly fine because I know my opinions are right and everything you say is wrong. No, I'm just playing. But okay, there is going to be a slider bar, right? There's going to be a bar that when you make your avatar, your account, your character, what have you, you're going to have an option to slide this bar all the way 100% to PvP or 100% to PvE. Okay, and when you make that slider bar decision, all you're doing is at that instant that you slide it, you're telling the game that you would prefer to play only against the environment or only against players. That doesn't mean as soon as I slide it all the way to PvP that all the NPCs just disappear. No, that's not going to happen. They're still going to be there. You're still going to have to interact with them. It just might be in a lesser amount. Like when you're out in space, instead of it randomly generating some hostile pirates that the computer controls that go against you, you might be in an area that it matches you up against other players because you chose the PvP option. But in some areas, you're going to get nothing but PvE, and in some areas, you're going to get nothing but PvP. So even if you slide it all the way to the environment side, you don't want to deal with players. You don't want them interfering with your game. You just want to deal with the environment. You're still going to see players flying around and doing their thing. And then when you go into the hostile areas, you're still going to be attacked by players because that's just a suggestion. Your slider bar is just kind of lets the game kind of angle you in the right direction, but you're still going to be open to all options. Okay, so is that your understanding of the slider bar?
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my understanding of it.
Right. And so, what about you, Don? Too? I mean, yeah, because
Yeah.
it's kind of vaguely go over it, but yeah, they haven't given us anything super specific.
That's basically how he mentioned it. Is that, you're still going to have to interact with people, irregardless. So it's
Right. Yeah, you're still going to have to
that's the
buy
point.
stuff from shops or whatever, and you're still going to have to, whatever. Yeah, exactly. So, so this is where my grief comes from. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not opposed with that concept. I like that concept. Okay. I just this is what I don't like. Let me back up. Do you prefer, let me ask you this question before I make my answer. Do you prefer PvP over PvE, or do you like PvE over PvP, and why? Go ahead, Parasite.
Wow, that's a difficult
Because you play
question.
both types. Because like in MechWarrior,
I have.
PvP, nothing but PvP.
Right.
And in like games like
EverQuest.
EverQuest.
Yeah, my wife and I have been playing EverQuest since 2003.
Okay.
And we actually prefer the PvE over the PvP. Simply because in that game you have actual players who can be more powerful than you. They could wipe you out in a second. And just like in real life, now you're dealing with bullies. And those bullies love to kill you. Just because they can. And after a while, you get tired of the game. When you have to deal with people like that, you actually get tired of playing. You don't want to play anymore. It's not fun anymore. And I don't know about you, but I'm in this to have fun. So personally, I mean, if it comes to PvP, I don't want to be actually have to be forced into, a PvP action. But if it comes down, I want the game to have mechanics set up so that we're even, and as far as player versus player.
Right. Okay. Right. So you're a PV environment. You like to take on the environment, like the monsters and all
Right.
that stuff, and leave
Yeah,
the players' interference out of it.
Right.
Especially the guys that are just there to grief you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. What about you, Donnie?
I love like Call of Duties and stuff like that. So I mean, player versus player, one-on-one, or even in a multiplayer aspect, I've always enjoyed. But see, games like Elder Scrolls Online or EverQuest and stuff like that, I've tried to avoid those because same thing that Parasite says. You got that guy out there, it's 99 level, and he's just going around picking off the low level guys and taking their gear or whatever. You kind of want to avoid that. But at the
Have you
same
read?
time,
Have you read my mind?
no,
You can't be having the same discussion as me. Okay,
so
go ahead.
it's the same. I mean, I'm a huge Call of Duty. I mean, I grew up, with the
I was
Xbox
specifically
series.
going to bring up Call of Duty.
So I've always played Call of Duties, and all the way up until the Xbox One came out, and then I just kind of let my membership go. But I've always enjoyed it.
Well, here's my take on it. Okay, I love PvP. Don't get me wrong. I love, like you said, when there's no risk involved. I love PvP. So like MechWarrior Online, you get me in a mech and it's PvP all day. I go back to the mech lab and I just recycle, repeat, and I can go back in. That's fine. When you get Call of Duty, you get into a match, I'm the first one killed, no problem. Okay, so I didn't get a whole lot of experience. I didn't get that level, I didn't get that badge, I didn't win the match. Darn it. But I can keep going back and there's no problem, And like Halo or any of those, like Quake, any of those PvPs that you're just playing to play against other players, that's fine. But when you implement an actual loss to you from another player, I'm struggling with that, because here I am cruising along with my 890 jump, and this guy comes up and he boards my ship, takes my ship, kills my character, and now I don't have the 890 jump anymore. And I'm just using that as an example.
And it didn't come with LoJack, so.
Well, sure, I've got insurance and all that stuff, but now, I don't see how insurance can replace it, because now you're going to have to wait to get another one built or delivered to you, and then so that's interfering with your game experience. Now, do they just have a whole bunch of 890 jumps on the lot and they can just hand you one? Maybe not, right? And then if they do, then all of a sudden there's 2 890 jumps out there in the universe, and there should only be that one. Or so like, and another thing, if you kill me, I lose a life, and then I respawn, of course, back at the hospital. But that's one of my very few, maybe 6 or so lives that my character has, and you're gonna allow other players to take that from me, and that's going to be bad, because even when a new player comes in, they're going to play for a little while, and they're going to say, okay, I'm getting a little cocky, I'm going to go out there into the void, and then like 16 goons are going to jump him and kill him just because they can. Not because they want his ship, because how are they going to do? Split it up 16 ways?
Right.
No, they're just doing it because it's fun to kill new players.
Yeah.
And I'm totally opposed to that. So when I have my slider ball slid all the way to PVE, right, I'll still get some PvP, and that new player should probably keep it slid to PVE until he gets comfortable or confident enough to slide it a little bit further to the right. Mm-hmm. It's just, or left, or however they got it set up. But yeah, I mean that's where I struggle with the players coming into the game. And I'm not saying that there's going to be a lot of players like that, but I think there will be. Just looking at other online games, mm-hmm. Even if there's only one guild out there, one guild of 100 members, and they're all griefers, let's say.
Right.
And that's their main, they're all 12-year-olds, and they want to go and they want to grief. Okay, because an adult wouldn't do that. In my opinion, adults. Well,
some that have.
I know that's the case, but I'm trying to tell them that they're children, because
right.
Yeah, griefers. There's no real reason to grief. Now, if you're doing it because I've got a reputation for being the best, and you're coming in to take me on because I've got that shiny star over my head. Okay, I get it. But if you're just shooting me just to shoot me, then there's no What? I mean, I'm going to be flying along, and I'm going to see guys flying along, and I'm not going to deal with them. I'm not going to have any desire to shoot them. I'm not. Now, if I was a pirate, okay, if I was playing the pirate character, sure, I see a guy, he's all by himself. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to try to rob him. Of course you're going to do that. I mean, that's kind of what that's the reason for your existing, because you're a pirate. So you're going to do that. But you're not doing it to hurt the guy. You're doing it because you're a pirate. It's the guys that do it to hurt other people's game is the ones that I've got problems with. And hopefully they have a way, some way to reduce the impact. If they make it so hard, and they've said they will, they said they're going to make it so, the penalties to be so high that when they do grief, that they're going to be suffering. But I just don't see any penalty being high enough.
Right.
You know, unless they automatically take a life from them too or something. And then who cares? If they're a griefer, they don't care if their character dies. They'll make a new griefer character. Mm-hmm. You know, they don't care if they've built up a reputation. All they've cared about is, have they hurt your status in the game?
Right.
And that's basically what you were talking about, Paraset.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
About how to how are we going to deal with players that are just dicks? You know.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have there's good guys out there, you know, that are going to try to be, you know, on the up and up, like the convoy, that group, right? They just by the concept of their organization, right? They're a bunch of merchants banding together to get from point A to point B, escorted and all that stuff. That tells me they're not griefers, right? But what about that, you know, what about that other group? You know, there's probably a couple other groups just like Goonrathy or whatever, and all they want to do is just run around and blow people up because it's fun to blow people up.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to be just flying around doing my own thing, having the worst rep in an area like I'm going somewhere, and then 15 ships jump me and blow me up.
Yeah.
That's not going to be fun. And if that happens a lot, like over and over and over, then I suspect people are not going to like the game. You know, and then that, all the Goonrathy would be doing at that point is killing the game that they enjoy killing people in.
Yeah.
So they really have to show some kind of balance. And I'm not saying that that's their mission, because I'm not a member of the Goonrathy or any of these other griefer groups. I don't know what their main mission is. But I can tell you, I talked to one person in our group, in our MechWarrior online group, and he's also part of our squadron. Right. And he said that he doesn't want to grief people, but he does want to hurt them. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, if we're anti-pirates, let's say, right? And there's a bunch of pirates operating in an area, you're going to want to destroy all the merchants delivering ships, you know, supplies to them. You're going to want to do that. And so we are going to gang up on these merchants. And he says he's going to enjoy that. And I'm like, okay, but your mission isn't to hurt the other player's game, which I guess you are in a way, because they are the enemy and you're trying to hurt their game. But you're not doing it to hurt the players, you know. You're doing it because there's a legitimate reason to do it. You see what I'm saying? He's actually going anti-piracy. And I'm like, okay, I can get behind that. So to me, it's motivation. Like, why are you doing it? I guess.
Yeah, and he did mention, you know, that, you know, that, you know, it was going to be reward, but he goes, it will be difficult.
Right.
Yeah.
And there also risk reward, exactly. You like if you well, Parasite, did you have something to say?
No. Like I said, I was just remembering. Again, I mean, my wife and I can't remember what happened. I can't remember if my wife and I ended up on a PvP server by accident or something. But I remember my wife getting really upset. Right. Because it wasn't something she was ready for. And so, I mean, for me, that would piss me off. You know, I'd be wanting to say, man, you mess with me, you mess with my whole family. You know, and like all of us get in and like we just mess them up. You know, it's like if they're going to mess one of us up, fine, we'll all get into it. The entire 1RS, we'll go in and we'll put a hit on them and make sure that they pay the price.
And that's another thing. I'm glad you brought that up. Bounty hunters and contracts to put on people. I do not think that if you're a law-abiding citizen and you're doing what you're supposed to do, that people can take hits on you legally. Okay?
Yeah.
So these legal bounty hunters and the Bounty Hunters Guild is not going to put out missions to hunt you down to kill you or to capture you or whatever. But if you're a criminal, then anybody can take out a bounty on you. So you're actually opening yourself up to be attacked by other players at any time. Which that's not a penalty per se, but it is a consequence.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one step in the right direction. But I don't know. What about other player versus player things? That let's not dwell on this thing here. There's something I am excited about player versus player on board the ships, because you know I've already talked about boarding parties and stuff, but there was some hint and some conversation about medics, right? Medic packs or medics, and if you
they can mess up your ship.
They can. What? No, if like a boarding party gets on, right, and you shoot somebody in the head, right, or whatever, and that player goes down, and the medic drags him back to his own ship, then there's a better chance that he'll be able to be revived. But then there's also those times that when you like shoot somebody and then everybody flees and that body's left on your ship, you're permanently dead. You know? And then you got to make a new character. You know, because there was no going back to the hospital or whatever. And so that's kind of like a corpse run, I guess, if you want to call it, but it's your friends have to be there to do that. You know, you can't do it yourself. What do you think about that? Do you think how do you feel about that?
I think he mentioned it different. Was that say you board a ship and you guys were unsuccessful and you didn't drag your battle buddy back. You know, you didn't bring your partner back, and he was down. Then I think he said that you wake up in their kind of prison or something like that, and you have to work your way out. So
yeah, you'd be a slave.
Yeah.
Okay. But still, who wants to be a slave? No, but that's cool. I understand, and I understand that the slave scenario or the captured prisoner scenario isn't going to be permanent. There's going to be a way for you to escape every time or whatever. But then you're going to be just in loincloth and a rock, you know, or something, trying to get back to your own ship, which might be on another planet. And how are you going to do that? You know. I don't know.
It'll be difficult.
Yeah. So I know we're all theory crafting here, and we're just throwing out ideas, and you know, we don't really know for sure. But we've all played MMOs. We've all played shooters and computer games in general. So we all know how the player versus player thing can get out of hand. I'm not saying that I don't want player versus player, because I do. I want player versus player. But I want it to be managed. I don't want it to be... Okay, you got a persistent universe and everybody's running everywhere. That's okay, but but when you just make it open season on everybody, then there's a problem. You know. I'm just saying that. That's all I'm saying. It's got to be tightly managed. And they say they are. They haven't really said how they are, and it's just a fear of mine. You know, that I'm going to get into a game that I think I'm going to really enjoy, and then these other players are going to ruin it for me. And then I'm going to be pissed off at the players, you know, and then not want to come back. That's what I'm afraid of, because I really want this game to survive. I really want this game to thrive, and I want new players to have a good experience, you know, because if you don't have good experiences as a new player, then you won't keep coming back. You won't get more new players. Because if I'm a new player and the game sucks and I'm constantly being ganged up on, I'm going to tell all my buddies that that game sucks, and then all of a sudden it's going to spread like that. So, but if I get in the game and it flows really good, and I'm able to, go all around and do all kinds of things and really enjoy myself, well, I'm going to tell my buddies. I'm going to say, man, this is the greatest game in the world. Everybody should, jump on board with this. So that's what I'm saying. I said word of mouth, All right, closing statements. Did you guys have any closing statements about PvP or PvE?
I think it's something I think we're going to see what happens. I'd like to, like I said, what I'd like to see is a balance. I'd like to see a balance in this so that you don't have players overpowering other players or players overpowering the game. So, like we've seen in other games, the three of us.
I'm gonna cut in and get in the middle of you two just a second. He did say there's not going to be any levels. There's no experience. So there's no reward metric where you're going to be able to just loot bodies, right, and or kill people and get experience or gain levels. And you're not going to go into an instance and say, well, I'm a 50th level fighter and you're only a 10th level fighter, and I'm going to kill you every time. But there is the equipment that player has, and you're going to be able to totally kit out your ship, and it's going to be this awesome ship, and that awesome ship is going to be like a 50th level character, and so there will be overpowered players. But hopefully, if you're in a unit and that unit has internal funds, they might be able to kit out some ships and let their new players, play with the good ships. But the problem with that is they might get them killed or blown up or whatever, and then you're out all that money. What about, I lost you, Don. I can't hear you. Don? Can't hear you. Says there's a problem with this call. It could be me. It's Parasite. You disconnected. Can't hear you, Don. If you can hear me, no sound. I don't know what's going on. It says, hold on while we try to get the call back. Well, welcome to this professional show. Parasite, what's going on? I've only got a picture now. No sound yet. I'll let you know when it's up.
Can you hear me yet?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. All right. Just to end on maybe, possibly, they do it somewhat like EverQuest, where they don't necessarily do it by level, like how far you go out into the areas, but maybe they could do a demographic, mini map to show, hey, if you go to this sector, then it's going to be a little bit more difficult. And if you go to this area, you're more than likely going to run into some problems. So, maybe they could, maybe when you're talking to that shopkeeper, says, well, I don't carry it, but I know over here they do, but you might want to watch your back, stuff like that. So just to give characters give players an idea of, hey, I got to get my parts over here, but it's more dangerous for me to go over and buy them. So I got to make sure I watch my back and, so I don't get taken.
Right. So you're saying maybe they'll have zones that are yellow zones, red zones, or whatever, dangerous or open. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or have the NPCs that you're talking to tell you, hey, you can find that over here, but hey, you might want to watch your back.
Right.
Or I won't go over there. I wouldn't do that.
Right. Give them some clues, some to let them know that they're about to go into a bad zone. Yeah, okay. That could be something. We need to. I think there needs to be a lot of. There's probably already a ton of discussion on the forums about this already, but I just wanted to say that we could probably throw in our 2 cents in there. But I guess we'll just have to wait till the game gets a little closer and they kind of share with us exactly how everything's going to work. Because right now we're just guessing.
Spitballing.
Yeah, we're just spitballing. All right. Well, that was an awesome show tonight. I appreciate you, Don. Parasit, when you watch this video, I appreciate you too, because he's not on right now. But this is an awesome show, and we're going to have another show. Our new time is every Thursday. We're probably going to start at 8:30 because my schedule on Thursday usually is till 8 o'clock. So sometimes it's not, but we're going to stay at 8:30 just to make it consistent. And I guess we'll see you in the verse.
See you in the verse.
So how'd you like it?
I thought it was good. Good
Okay.
topics. I actually enjoy that topic.
Yeah? Is there why? Because it's a hot topic.
I just